There's always a second where it buffed. Hey, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Illegal Formation. This is episode 2 of Illegal Formation, I should say. I'm your host. I'm Chad Bryan. With me is TK Dandridge. TK, happy Saturday morning, man. What's going on?
Morning, brother. Doing all right. Just finished doing some yard work on the early side. Feeling a little refreshed, a little tired too, but ready to get it rolling.
I hear that. I need to do some yard work too, man. I gotta mow my grass, and this time of year, I always think like, okay, maybe this time when I mow, it's the last time to mow for the year, right? Like I'll cut some leaves, but I know that's not true. I'm gonna be mowing close to November, so here we go. It doesn't matter. It's still warm though, man. It's kind of unseasonably warm. It's just it's like it's been in the 80s every day.
Yeah, it still kind of feels like summer. Summer leftovers weren't
I'll
really
take it.
quite scooped up yet, so I'm enjoying it. No complaints here.
No, I will never complain about summer weather. You know what's going to happen the night that my kids go out to go trick or treating, man. It's going to snow. I mean, for like 3 years in a row, it's snowed on trick or. It's just it always happens, man. It's whatever.
It's wild.
I don't know how the weather knows, but it knows. Oh, we got a pretty good show for you today, man. We're going to talk about the Guardians. We're going to decide whether or not the Guardians season was a success or a failure overall. They lost, 2 games to 1 in the wild card series of the playoffs after the historic, 15 and a half game comeback to take over the division on the very last day of the season to beat the Tigers after being down 15 and a half games, like I said, on July 8th. All that to lose, 6-3 on Thursday in game 3. And I don't know. The offense just didn't quite seem to be there for that series, and kind of the story for the whole season. But the comeback was fun. Like I said, we'll get into that in a minute. I want to remind you guys, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. You're right here on the Inside Edge Network. There's a whole lineup of shows on the Inside Edge Network. I've mentioned it before. Just head to our social media, head to our Instagram, YouTube, X, Facebook. Follow us everywhere you can to get notifications for when we go live and when some of these other shows go live, or when they drop episodes, or just when we, post a reel or post a quick reaction video or whatever it is. Just, make sure that you're always there and engaged with us. And, we want to talk to you guys. Make sure you comment on our videos and let us know what you're thinking out there. Also, do not forget that we are coming to you live again. TK and myself and Ryan Mosser will be with you for the Inside Edge Network Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show, and that's going to be pretty early tomorrow morning, TK. We're going live at 7:30 a.m. The Browns are in London. They'll play the Vikings. They kick off at 9:30, so we do a 2-hour.
Get your alarms ready.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get up, have a cup of coffee with us. Set the alarms, set multiple alarms. I have a tendency to sleep through mine. If you're like me, you might want to set 2 or 3. But be sure to catch us tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for that one. That'll be a good show. TK, I don't even know how to intro this. Let's just get into it, man. The Guardians, 88-74, AL Central champions. The huge historic comeback, right? Biggest comeback in the history of MLB, at least in the modern era. Whatever. It feels like a little bit of a letdown. I don't want to say a failure, but I don't know, TK, is it a success? Is it a failure? I mean, how do you look at this season when you look at the overall picture?
Now, first and foremost, I want you to know you can feel however you want to feel about this season. It is normal, especially with how Game 3 went down. I thought that 7th inning was a nightmare. Hunter Gaddis got his tits pounded off to the 5th dimension. It was very hard to see. But, along with everything else, what I need people to understand, and I'm sure you guys already understand this, to be able to come back from a 15 and a half game deficit in a matter of less than 3 months to a team as good as the Detroit Tigers, we have to deem that as some type of a success. Obviously, the letdown was painful. Game 1 hurt, but it didn't hurt nearly as badly as Game 3. I definitely thought we would have had that one. Didn't expect Jack Flaherty to play the way that he did. Also didn't expect Stephen Voigt to pull out Slade Ciccone as early as he did, to pull him out either in or before the fourth inning with only one run allowed was beyond puzzling. And to just watch the Tigers lineup knock out that bullpen one by one by one, and especially with the Hunter Gaddis meltdown in the seventh inning, that had been something I had never seen. I'm not used to seeing it. I wasn't happy to see it, and I'm sure the rest of our fan base wasn't happy to see that either. You guys wanted to get into the ownership crew. Listen, we've been complaining about the Dolan since the dawn of time. All right, this is neither here nor there at this point in time. This has to be at least the third or fourth year where we have stressed that this may be a rebuilding year, and somehow, some way, we end up with 88 wins and we end up in the playoffs. So I just need people to understand, listen, I get the early postseason exits hurt.
Yeah.
They are painful, especially the way that it went down. I get it. But this is not the time to blame ownership. This is not the time to go shoulda, coulda, woulda. Obviously, we all feel that way right now. But this year, we were not slated to do anything special, and we ended up doing that anyway. You end up as a division winner. Granted, it hurts to be sent home immediately. We still won a division banner. We still won 88 games. We still look good. Granted, you need bats outside of Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
We got some much welcome spot duty mop-up from guys like George Valera. Obviously, David Fry was a key contributor before breaking his nose in one of the Detroit games before the playoffs had started. So, to be honest, I would have to put this as a success. You obviously want more. You obviously strive for more. But with the circumstances that this team had coming into the 2025 MLB season, this was not expected at all. And to be able to say, hey, we won 88 games. We won a division crown. We took the Detroit Tigers to the brink of the wild card. I think that has to be summed up as a success.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that we agree on this. I kind of thought you'd look at this as the other way, to be honest with you. I thought you'd have the other perspective. I think you do have to label it a success. I mean, listen, only one team can win the World Series every year. That's how it is, right? It's not easy.
Not
if
at
it
all.
was easy, teams like
we'd
the
have
Padres,
a couple of them.
What's that?
If it was easy, we'd have a couple of them.
For sure. Yeah, if it was easy, I mean, 4 or 5 teams a year would win the World Series, and we'd give out participation trophies, and everybody would be happy, right? But it's not easy. It's tough. I think it really hurt this team that Lane Thomas never really got going this year. He finally had surgery in September for plantar fasciitis. I assume he'll be back, ready to go. I mean, hopefully healthy, and spring training and opening day.
And another thing on top of that, I'm still not over the Shane Bieber trade at all.
Yeah.
I definitely thought we were going to see him at least for brief stints going into the months of August and September after healing from that elbow injury. But to go ahead and flip him before the historic comeback, shows the depth of the team. But to have another ace in your hole like a Shane Bieber, I definitely think that would have helped, especially after seeing Tarek school us and drill us for 14 strikeouts. I mean, he looked incredible. I hadn't seen a performance like that in years.
He bounced back very quickly. I mean, from what was probably, you could call it a meltdown in the regular season. That game that he hit Fry in the face, I'm sure that had something to do with it. Emotionally, that's actually hard. I mean, people think athletes are inhuman, right? And they don't have feelings or emotions, but you never want to hit a guy in the face as a pitcher.
He went to see him in the hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. And rode with Stephen Vogt, by the way. So, I mean,
class guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, just about
class A guy, period.
Yep, exactly. And that's one of those reasons for me, I don't know, like it doesn't feel too bad. Like I know it's like kind of your rival or whatever, but you look at it's a bunch of good guys, whatever. It happens. It's baseball. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. I don't know. I'm a Braves fan. They didn't even make the playoffs this year, so it's hard for me to throw stones. But I'm sitting here listening to pros and cons, and like the pros are like, like you said, the Shane Bieber trade, right? 9 games down on July 31st. They trade Bieber before the deadline. Let him go. I mean, by all accounts, at that point, I mean, they were faced with the news of losing Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase to the bizarre midseason gambling investigation, whatever that was about. still don't have a lot of closure on that. I mean, I think we have a little bit of an idea of. It seems like it could be pretty bad at this point, but we don't have an exact. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. But despite all that, I mean, this Guardians team had by the trade deadline, they had sold, right? They were. I don't know. I want to say giving up on the season, but when you trade your ace, I don't know. I mean, you're kind of giving up on the season when you sell like that. But I mean, they just kept winning. I mean, something happened at that point. They kept winning and winning and winning. And before you knew it, here they were. They were right back in it. And a few timely wins over the Tigers. And I don't know. I mean, down the stretch, they looked great. Did they run out of gas? I mean, do you think they just got tired? I mean, emotionally, that's a tough thing to go through. I mean, the baseball season's long. It's 162 games.
162 games. My goodness.
And it's crazy to see it come down to a best-of-3 series, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's where a lot of that pain comes from within the fan base. It's like we did so much work to get here to reshape the image of what the season was supposed to be, and then we end up doing that, and then we get to the playoffs, and then we end up with the early exit. It kind of reminds me. I hate to go off topic a little bit, but it kind of reminds me of the 07-08 Houston Rockets when they went on a 22-game winning streak amidst the injuries to both Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming, which was unfathomable at the time, but they managed to do it. Streak ended with a home loss to Boston, and obviously they ended up losing in the first round. Not having your two superstars will do that to you, but hey, listen, the season as a whole, you set a new franchise record for consecutive wins. You ended up winning. I think they won 54 games that year, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere between 51 and 54 games that they won.
Yeah.
Ended up being the 6th seed, and obviously lost in the first round. For us to be able to come back amidst the impending, seemingly obvious fire sale, you get rid of your best pitcher. You got a couple cats getting in trouble for gambling. We make a few more trades. It was definitely looking like, hey, let's reshape this team. This isn't gonna be our year. This isn't gonna be anything that we do anything special.
Yeah. But built for the future, right? Yeah,
exactly. That's what it was seeming like. But hey, you can still continue to do that. I remember we talked about this before. You can compete while attempting to rebuild. It does not need to be the ongoing tankathon that the Browns seem to like to do. But, it doesn't have to be that miserable. You can still compete while attempting to restructure your team.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Cleveland did a wonderful job of showing us that they can do just that.
Hopefully I think some Pirates fans would disagree with you. I think, they're always in total teardown mode, even though they have they have the best pitcher in the game and they're still in total teardown mode, whatever. That's a weird situation in Pittsburgh. But, I was just thinking about something you were saying. It triggered a thought for me. I mean, people complain about the Dolans, like you said, and people complain about this and that, and the Guardians never have the big bat. They never have this. They never have that. They trade all their aces away. They trade their Cy Young guys away. But you know what they do, TK? They just keep competing, right? You look back over the last 20 or 25 years, let's just say since 99, since the Browns came back, the Guardians are the most consistent team in town. I know that the Cavs delivered a championship. I get that. The 4 straight finals, that was crazy. That was a fun run. Right. People still took it for granted, and they still do, I think.
Real Cleveland Cavaliers remember those late 90s, early 2000s teams that were absolutely pitiful.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the 02-03 Cavs that only won 17 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Cavs fans have gone through it. And, the Guardians, the Indians, Guardians, whatever they were at the time, they've had some down years. But they've got this thing where they seem to bounce back every other year. The Browns don't do that. The Cavs, like I said, the Cavs had a 4-year run. Okay, I get it. Unmatched by any professional team in this town. Sure. But, over the last 25, 26 years, you'd have to say the Guardians have been by far the most consistent. You can't argue this next point. They've definitely done the most with the least, right?
Absolutely.
I think you just enjoy it. It's been a fun run. If you're a baseball fan in this town, you don't really have a lot to be upset about. Like I said, winning in the playoffs is not easy, right? It really just comes down to who gets hot at the right time. And obviously the Tigers, despite their best efforts, they somehow backed into the playoffs and still they secured a wild card. They were in free fall mode, right, to end the regular season, but something happened when the playoffs, they flipped the switch when the playoffs started, and the Guardians didn't. They flipped it the other way. They turned the lights out. They were stumbling around. They couldn't see for 3 games. And, I mean, they had a nice inning in game 2, but that's really all it boiled down to for the Guardians, right?
Right, absolutely.
It's what happens. Sometimes, I mean, just great pitching beats great hitting, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes your team loses. Sometimes your team wins. I guess that's the excitement of being a sports fan. You never really know what's going to happen. If the Guardians won the World Series 10 years in a row, wouldn't it get a little boring after a while? I don't
know. I don't think winning ever gets boring.
Well,
nobody wakes up and says, "Oh boy, all this winning. This sure does stink. I want to lose today."
Maybe
that didn't happen too much.
maybe not.
The Browns front office seems to think like that.
Yeah,
they seem to think like that, but
they do.
They're
they
weird,
seem to avoid it at all costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the Browns tomorrow at length. But before we get into our next topic, I want to talk about the Ohio State-Minnesota game, which for some reason is a night game. TK, I don't understand. Whatever. Couldn't get Texas at night.
Ohio at night. I mean, why the hell not?
Why not? At least it's a Big Ten. At least it's a Big Ten game.
Right.
That's whatever. But before we get into that, I do want to mention, so obviously Dylan Gabriel will be making his first start tomorrow in London for the Cleveland Browns. I said it on the show, on the pregame show. I said the Browns will never do that. They'll never start a rookie quarterback in London. Here they are. Gabriel will be the first NFL rookie quarterback to make his debut in an overseas game. So we'll see how that goes. I did want to talk about really quick before we switch gears here. Shedeur Sanders this week. It's hard to say without laughing. He was asked for his reaction, and I'm sure that in the back of his head, he had the Rex Ryans of the world, right? Who keep asking why Shedeur Sanders keeps talking. Well, I don't know, TK. I mean, if I'm in the locker room and I'm a part of a professional team, and I've got 6 or 7 media guys around me, and 6 or 7 guys are asking questions, I mean, I'm going to talk, right? Like, I'm going to answer the questions. That's only fair. Right. But I thought Shedeur Sanders did a funny thing. I don't think a lot of people didn't get it. I think it went over a lot of people's heads. I don't know if you saw the interview, if you saw the video on X. I think Spencer German actually shared it. I'll give him credit for that. Got a bunch of views. I mean, everybody saw it, right? Shedeur Sanders just kind of pantomimed his answers. He didn't say anything out loud. He just sort of mouthed answers. So I guess Rex Ryan got his wish. Shedeur Sanders stopped talking. Did you think that was funny? Did you think that was immature? I mean, how did you feel about that? That was hilarious.
To be quite honest, I thought it was funny. But, in the same breath, it's never good when your QB3 is making headlines. Granted, we all know that this young man has a talent that can farly surpass that of a QB3. That is the situation that it is right now. I understand that it made absolutely no sense to keep Joe as the backup, but at the same time, I do get the experience plays well. They want to keep Shedeur continuing to work hard, continuing to get in that playbook, learn as much of it as he can. What I truly think with this team is they want to use him as the developmental quarterback. Yeah. They got Dylan in the 3rd round, as we all know. We have to see what he's made of. To be honest, right now, we got to see what he's made of right now. Yeah. I definitely think he'll be a solid pro, but at the same time, a lot of it remains to be seen. Him doing the whole pantomime thing. Look, you can feel however you want to feel about it. Listen, we are the ones that continue to make QB3 viral. We are the ones that continue with this drama every single week. If we, I understand there are a lot of people that are rooting for this young man, as am I. But at the same time, I am a Browns fan first. I have always said the front of the jersey outweighs the value of what's on the back every time, every trip with me. That is just it. As a real fan, I don't give a damn who succeeds. I want somebody to succeed.
Just somebody get some W's, man. Somebody please pick up, win some games.
Please get us W's.
I'll settle for 20 points, TK.
Come on now. I mean, especially with Minnesota playing all their backups. Come on now.
Man, I know. The whole offensive line's out, right? 4 out of 5 guys on the offensive line are out for this game, aren't they?
Yep. Let's see here. Bryan O'Neal is hurt. Donovan Jackson is also out. Their starting center, Ryan Kelly, has had concussion problems. Once again, this has been a repeating issue. This was even a problem when he was with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy, obviously, with the ankle sprain. He
Yeah.
got a lot of work this week in practice. Doesn't expect to play, though. Carson Wentz will still make the start.
Yeah.
It's just a mess right now in Minnesota, but they do remain competitive. So don't you dare go to sleep on this team, because we could very easily end up embarrassed in London.
Listen, if you're a Browns fan, I don't think you can go to sleep on any team. Like I don't think it's ever. There's never a given anything in Cleveland Browns. And here's my one question for you though, with so many offensive linemen out for the Vikings, and we'll get to our next topic. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Do you remember when you were a kid, man? Like the night before Christmas, you'd have these dreams, right? Like I always had dreams. Do you think Myles Garrett is having those kind of dreams right now about getting back into the pocket and like getting after Carson Wentz? I mean, the one advantage Wentz has is he's a little bit mobile. He can move, right? He's got some decent feet.
Right.
He can move around a little bit. But with a lot of offensive linemen out in this game, man, do you think Myles Garrett is just like licking his chops? I think guys like Mason Graham, I look for that defensive line to have a huge game in this one.
Well, absolutely. I expect Mason Graham to get an entire sack this week. He's still chilling with that half a sack. I expect him to add on to that total. For the first 4 weeks of the season, I have said often that Myles Garrett looks like Lawrence Taylor from 1986. I definitely think tomorrow he's going to want to channel Derek Thomas from 1990 and break that single-game sack record. That's what he'll be looking to do, I think. Obviously, we've talked about the majority of the offensive line being out. Christian Darrisaw is still there. He's still one of the best left tackles in all of football. So that's going to be a task. I definitely think Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell did the very best of their ability to contain number 95. He did not have a single sack. Had 4 pressures, however, he was able to get in the face of Jared Goff a little bit there towards the end of the game. But overall, those 2 tackles did an excellent job with number 95, as I thought they would. It was definitely going to be a challenge for Myles, but I definitely think Myles is one of those guys that can do anything at any given time. But yeah, for this game here, he's definitely going to have to channel Derek Thomas from 1990. He may be sniffing 7 or 8 sacks. If they're really onto it, we could have double-digit sacks as a team tomorrow. If we're really onto it, going to give those backups a run for their money. But again, do not sleep. They are a very well-coached team. Kevin O'Connell's going to have those boys ready to play. We better be ready to play.
Well, they better get something going. The run game, the pass game, they better get something going, because if not, this Browns defense is really good. We've seen how good they are. But let's move on. Speaking of defenses that are really good, TK, Ohio State has one. Matt Patricia has this team rolling right now. The 4-2-5 has never looked so alive. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but wow, listen to me go.
Good.
Yeah. And listen, they've just I don't want to get into like comparisons of Jim Knowles to Matt Patricia. It's not fair. They're different guys. They have different systems. They have different wrinkles. They have different, assistant coaches, even with Josh Boyer coming in. Boyer coached with Patricia with the Patriots a long time. I always got the feeling Boyer was like in charge of the back end. Patricia was in charge of the front end. And they just sort of like work together. I think that's maybe that's the difference right now in that 4-2-5. I think Matt Patricia has the defensive backfield working a little bit better with that front 4, front 7, whatever you want to call it, front 6 in the 4-2-5. I think they're just they work more congruently than Jim Knowles' 4-2-5 did. I think they were doing 2 different things last year, the last 2 or 3 years, whereas now Patricia has them working together as a unit. I think Caleb Downs is kind of, well, I mean, obviously he's the quarterback of the defense, right? Like he's the guy out there making the calls, and but I think he's a big catalyst for that. I think he's just I don't know. All the guys talk about Matt Patricia, how good of a communicator he is, and how brilliant he is, and how as genius as the system is, it's really easy for them to follow. I'm looking forward to this game, just in the sense that I don't know. I guess it's a night game, and I don't know. It's whatever. Minnesota. I just want to see some things on the field. I'd like to see the Buckeyes open up the playbook. Real quick, just want to get into the facts. The Buckeyes actually lead the all-time series against Minnesota. It's 22-1. They are their last loss was back in 2000. John Cooper's last year. They lost 29-17. That year ended up with 2 consecutive losses to rival Michigan and to South Carolina in the Outback Bowl. Ushered in the Jim Tressel area 2 days later. 2 years later, the Buckeyes won a national championship. And for all the people that were saying, who? When they hired Jim Tressel, I think they found out pretty quickly, but
they would soon find out.
They would soon find out, right? Yeah, I don't know. That 31-24 win over Miami, that was fun. We'll get to Miami in a minute because I want to ask you about a couple of top 25 matchups. But first, I want to ask you a little bit about Minnesota. Is there anything I should be worried about going into this Gophers game when I watch the Buckeyes tonight, or no?
Surprisingly, the Minnesota Golden Gophers have a really good offense. The run game is pretty solid. They have a three-headed monster with guys like Darius Taylor, Grant Washington, and Fame Ajobi. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I hope I did. If not, I do apologize for that.
We knew what you meant.
These are all kids that average over 4.5 yards a carry when touching the football. They have 7 total rushing touchdowns so far as a unit. The quarterback, Drake Lindley, is having a solid year to the tune of 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I definitely think the Minnesota Golden Gophers can generate points, can move the football. But, against a defense like ours, brother, we're allowing 6 points a game. We allow 6 points a game. We have one of the premier defensive coordinators from the NFL not too long ago. And that brings me to my next point. How about the rebirth of Matt Patricia as a genius-like coach? Yeah. I didn't think we'd see this. This guy is literally reinventing himself as the defensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I do think that by some weird stroke of luck, if Ryan Day is not to be here next year, then he's definitely next in line to be the head coach for this organization. I definitely believe that. It's been really beautiful to see him use these young kids. Obviously, having guys like Caleb Downs is definitely a luxury. Having Sonny Styles back, he's having a wonderful year so far. Very versatile guy, can rush the passer, great tackler, good in the run game, cover a little bit. So, I mean,
guys like Caden Curry and Edric Houston are playing great. I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
You've got guys at every level that are playing really, really good football.
Absolutely.
And Davis and Igbinosa look so much better at corner, by the way.
They do. That.
I mean, the technique is better. Like, everything's better,
Yeah, definitely glad you brought that up, brother. But, I mean, it just – the thing that we want to do is be able to slow their running game down. Like I said, they can also pass the ball, too. Like I said, they have a solid quarterback, a decent receiving group. Not too much to write home about, but definitely that run game, you got to focus on there. They have different schemes that they can get their players the ball and to send downfield. I don't think because we have a very disciplined defense, I don't think we'll give up too much real estate. But again, please be wary of this offense. They can move the ball. They have a decent offensive line as well. Should be pretty interesting, but I think we should take it.
Yeah, I think Jalen Smith, I think they have a receiver averaging like almost 30 yards a catch, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he's only got 6 catches, but he's averaging.
He makes the most of it, right? He gives opportunities.
Yeah.
Listen, he's not like a Browns wide receiver, right? He makes the most of his opportunities.
There you go. Hey,
man. Yeah, I like Julian Sayin. I'm looking at Julian Sayin growing into that quarterback role at Ohio State. He's a kid who just Ryan Day keeps saying he shows a lot of poise. I think he delivers pretty much every ball almost on time. We've seen a couple. I mean, he's a young kid. He's made a couple of mistakes, a few interceptions on the year, but he's done 10 touchdown passes. He can throw just about any ball on the field. I mean, the ball just kind of snaps out of his hand. I was a little surprised. I knew he had a good arm, but he really throws the ball with some I don't know, man. He's just got there's some force behind it, man. Like, for not a very big kid, right? Like, the ball just kind of seems to pop out of his hand.
Was he 6'1", 195?
Yeah. And a lot of people say he doesn't look like a football player, whatever. I don't know what that means. But, I mean, he's completed almost 80% of his passes, right? 78 for 99, almost 1,000 yards through the air. Like I said, 10 touchdowns. Bo Jackson right now is emerging as RB1. I think you're looking – not that Bo Jackson, but I think you got to, not that Bo Jackson. This is actually Lamar Jackson is his name, but we call him Bo. So he's got a couple of runners in spirit there running with him all the time. But yeah, Bo Jackson, I think, is emerging as running back 1. I mean, he's, 297 yards on 35 carries. He does have just 1 touchdown, but he's averaging almost 9 yards a carry for the Buckeyes right now. So I think you give him the ball more. I think Minnesota's going to have to stop him. He's got the longest run of the season for the Buckeyes as well. He ripped off a 64-yarder. So he does have that. Again, Jeremiah Smith is leading the team in receiving. 28 catches for almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't want to say he's inhuman, but I mean, he's He's otherworldly, man. Like watching him play, the strength and like just the he's just such a good football player. I mean, I think a lot of people nationally want to like I don't know, people expect him to score 5 touchdowns a game, but just watching him, like the attention that he pulls right away from a defense where he's got 2 or 3 guys following him on every single play. Eventually, I think Sayin is going to feel that and learn to go back to Carnell Tate, Brandon Innes, like a couple guys. I know Innes had the fumble on the punt return, whatever. I don't think that's a big deal. But I think Sayin is going to learn to kind of right now he's looking at Jeremiah Smith. You can see him sometimes staring him down. I don't blame him. If I had Jeremiah Smith running out there, I'd be staring him down too. I'd be looking for an opportunity to get the ball to him.
Would he down there somewhere?
He's down there somewhere. Throw it to him, right? Yeah, I think eventually he'll feel that. I think Max Clare is going to start to emerge. Clare hasn't really like broken out yet. He's got like 6 catches, I think, 74 yards, just 1 touchdown against Ohio. I think you'll see Clare eventually expand his role in the passing game. I think he needs to become still a better blocker. And I think that's kind of what's keeping him off the field on some plays. I mean, although the Buckeyes have gone to a couple of 3 and 4 tight end sets, I don't know how you feel about that. You feel like they're clogging up the box a little bit, or how do you feel about the 4 tight end sets we've seen?
That's unheard of. I don't ever think I've heard of that. But I mean, it's working. If it works, then go ahead and use it. I'm all for using different formations. Being able to confuse your opponent as much as you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're running out there with 4 tight ends. They're running. This isn't like any jumbo set I've ever seen. What the hell's going on here? So that's what you look for. That's what you look for. You look for confusion. You look for little holes in the defense, little things that you can exploit. Little loopholes or whatever that you go off of, and you go ahead and get the job done from there. So I'm all for it. As long as you don't water it down and you're a little over persistent with it. As long as you blend other things, it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the Buckeyes are going to have much of a problem with the Gophers. I do want to ask you before I give. I want you to give a score prediction, and I should say, by the way, that game's on NBC tonight. If you're going to watch that, it's on NBC and Peacock. If you want to check that out, and I think who's on the call? I think Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge are on the call on that one. I'm not sure if that's the NBC crew still or not, but I think that's who's on the call. So a couple other games, a couple other top 10 matchups. This is kind of a fun one, right? Miami's playing Florida State. Okay. Take last week out of the equation. Last Friday's loss to Syracuse. And I would have said, hey, Florida State wins this game going away. I thought Florida State was going to be a big problem this year. I thought Florida State was going to blow everybody out. They looked like they were an NFL team, right? Playing. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And then Syracuse takes them down in a couple of overtimes. And I don't understand what happened to Florida State. So now, knowing this, a lot of people say Miami could beat Ohio State. I think Miami's a great team.
They are.
I just how do you feel about Miami, Florida State? It's at Florida State. So number 3 Miami goes on the road to 19 Florida State. Where's your head at on this one?
Granted, I do feel that the loss to Syracuse was very embarrassing, although it was a very good game. I do think Florida is one of the more dangerous one-loss teams in America, and I do expect them to beat them tonight. Yes, I do expect the Florida State Seminoles to defeat the U tonight in Florida, in Tallahassee. I expect that to happen. I think Tommy Casta, I can't pronounce his last name. I can't pronounce
his last name. A lot of letters. A lot of syllables. Tommy, a lot of syllables.
Tommy C.
Tommy, a lot of syllables. Yeah, here we go.
He's having a wonderful year. He's definitely in the thick of that Heisman race and the heartbeat of their offense. I like their defense as a whole, even though it didn't show up a lick last week against Syracuse. No. I think they can get back to that in some ways here at home. I'm going to take Florida State for the big win in Tallahassee tonight. Also, for another upset tonight, we got Texas going to Florida. I'm taking the Gators.
Okay.
I do like the improvements that Arch Manning has made to his game. Definitely a welcome sign. Definitely like seeing him making plays. He's getting a little more consistent with his game, but still, I don't think it's all the way there yet. Still think they got a little bit of things to work out. Florida is a very feisty bunch of young men. I definitely expect them to come out, and it's at the Swamp, too. Oh, yeah, it's going to be rocking. I got the Florida Gators winning this one today.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that people expected Arch Manning to come onto the scene and beat Peyton Manning right away. He's still a young kid. He's got plenty of time to develop. I think it's obvious now that we're watching him play through about half the season. He's not coming out in this draft. He's
I
going to go
keep
back
telling
to
folks
school.
he's not coming out next year.
Yeah.
Don't even
And listen, I don't know that he'll be at Texas. A lot of people seem to think he's going to transfer out of there. Like the offense doesn't really fit his skill set. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But he's definitely going to be somewhere in college next year. I don't think he's coming out in the draft. I'm about 99% sure of that. So I think we can take him off draft boards and just maybe let him. It's okay.
I don't know why he was on there to begin with. They said this before the college football season started. Arch ain't messing with none of y'all next year.
No.
And it's evident that he shouldn't be because he has some things that he needs to correct before he comes to the NFL.
And that's okay. That doesn't make him a bust. That doesn't make him a disappointment. He's developing his game, and that's fine. Some guys get 7 or 8 years, right, in college. I don't know. I mean, I guess David Spade would tell you they're called doctors, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And listen, the other top 25 matchup, there's only one other top 25 matchup today, this weekend. And it is 2 blue bloods going at it, TK. Alabama's going on the road to face perennial football powerhouse Vanderbilt, number 17, Vanderbilt. Alabama's number 11, Vanderbilt's number 17. We saw what happened last year. Vanderbilt, they're trying to beat Alabama for the second straight year. Diego Pavia, all the magic. I mean, you think anything happens, or is Alabama? I think it might be a little bit refocused now after that loss earlier in the season. How are you feeling about Bama?
The Vandy Alabama game is so confusing to me because I really just don't know what to think. It's like, okay, Vandy, granted, they struggled a little bit versus Utah State last week.
Yeah.
They still were able to pull it out, and they're still ranked. This is the first time they've been ranked since, the Jay Cutler days? I could be wrong there, but again.
I don't think you are.
And of course, Alabama was very impressive against Georgia last week in a 24-21 win. I like Ty Simpson a ton. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the nation. Yeah. Definitely think he's starting to earn a lot of respect, making a lot of big game plays late to help the Alabama Crimson Tide in that Georgia game. So I expect it to be a very close game. I definitely think Vandy wants to snap back from the snooze of an effort against Utah State. Alabama wants to continue with some of the momentum that they got from the big win against Georgia. So I definitely think this is going to be a tough game. I got the Georgia Bulldogs winning. Good Lord. The Alabama Crimson Tide winning.
Same thing. Whatever. SEC. They're all the same.
But I definitely think the commies are going to come with it. It's going to be a very, very physical football game. Definitely one that I see going to the wire. Could possibly get an extra session, too. It's going to be a very interesting one.
Okay. Suddenly Vanderbilt plays Bama tough. I think Bama's, like I said, I think they've refocused a little bit. I think they're on the right track. I think they might actually win this game by a couple of scores. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think you can see Bama go in there and win, 34-21, something like that. But I do think Vanderbilt will be competitive in this one. All right, let's get to it. All right, before we get out of here, we got just a couple minutes left. Minnesota, Ohio State. Ohio State is a 24-point favorite. The last I looked at the line, 23.5, 24. It's kind of floating back and forth. Over-under on this one is 44 points. 44, I guess 44.5 points. So it kind of sounds like they're not expecting the odds makers, meaning the odds makers, aren't expecting Ohio State to put up 50 or 60 points in this one. I don't think they, nobody expects them to just completely run over Minnesota and dismantle them to that effect, right?
Right.
But I also don't think that anybody expects Minnesota to get to 10 points on Ohio State, do they? I mean, nobody has yet. It's like you said, 22 points in 4 games is ridiculous. I mean,
that's crazy to believe, too.
Man, they're really good. So what do you got? Minnesota, Ohio State. I mean, it's a night game in Columbus. The shoe is going to be rocking. That makes a difference. These kids are going to have all day to get, their personalities a little bit lubed up. They're going to be ready to yell and scream and have some fun. What do you think?
Granted, nobody has scored double digits against this yet. I do think the Minnesota Golden Gophers are capable of doing so. Granted, I don't expect the fireworks to go completely crazy, but I am going to go ahead and take Ohio State 31-17.
Okay. 17 points. Okay. Listen, the Gophers are 3-1. They lost to Cal back on September 13th, I think 27-14. They've beat Buffalo 23-10. They played Northwestern State, which, usually the teams that have a couple different directions in their name, maybe not the biggest football program. They beat them 66-0. So they can score, right? This is like kind of like Washington coming in. Like Washington had played a couple of whatever. We said, man, Washington can score. They're scoring like 180 points a game or whatever. Well, they scored 6, right, at home against Ohio State. And Minnesota's also beaten Rutgers 31-28. So they do have a Big Ten win. I think Minnesota is capable of getting to double digits, but I don't know that they do. I teetered back and forth between 38-10 and 38-3, and I think the defense just kind of shows up. I think this is an opportunity to go, like I said, to play at home at night in a Big Ten game. A little bit different than playing OU, a little bit. Minnesota's not a premier team. They're not, a top 25. They're not top 10. They're not top 5. But I do think Ohio State's going to be up for this one. That's the thing with this team is Ryan Day seems to have them, not just physically ready to play every Saturday, but they seem to be psychologically ready. That they don't get, there's no slow starts. I know that the Ohio game wasn't like the quickest start, but it's not like that. They didn't get down early either, right? They played well enough to stay in the lead. They just didn't execute in the red zone. I mean, they moved the ball down the field. They just brand new quarterback, brand new, wrinkle of the offense, whatever, new tight end. They just didn't execute a couple of times. That was the difference in that game, I think. It could have been a 50-something tonight, right? Like it could have been way worse. So I'm going to say 38-3. I think Ohio State wins this game 38-3. I don't think they put up 50 or 60 points, like I said. But I also don't think Minnesota really makes it that competitive. I think Ohio State wins 38-3 at home tonight. Under the lights at the shoe. So there you go. TK, do you have anything in closing, man? I think we're gonna get out of here. It's been almost 45 minutes. Time flies when we talk sports, man. I don't know where it goes, but it flies right by.
Definitely, man. Not much to think about. Really excited for the pregame show tomorrow, even though we're going to be up way earlier than what we usually are. Yeah. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to go. Still don't know which jersey I'm going to wear. Figure that out sometime tonight.
The Braylon Edwards jersey did not work last week. That
did. It worked for the Packers game, believe it or not.
Hey. Right.
So,
well, you may have to drop that one from the rotation.
Maybe.
I got another drop shot in on Braylon Edwards. I didn't mean to do that, but whatever.
Probably bring back Joe Thomas. See him.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, well, I don't really have anything other than just enjoy the slate of college football games today because the season goes by so quickly. Every year about this time I start to panic. I'm like, we're halfway through the season, right? Like I haven't watched enough college football. I'm missing games. I got it. I'm watching as much as I can, but yeah, it just seems to go by so quickly. This time of the year is very, very special. I love the fall. I love college football season. This is like my favorite thing to watch. I love baseball.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. No pun intended.
There'll be first downs and touchdown. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's no singing. This isn't a singing show. We maybe have some people on the Inside Edge Network that are talented that can sing, but it's not me. Trust me. So before I embarrass myself anymore, let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Again, this is episode 2 of Illegal Formation right here on the Inside Edge Network. We're brought to you by LPV Productions. Again, please head to social media, head to Instagram, head to X, head to Facebook, head to YouTube. Follow us, like the page, again, engage with us, comment on our videos. Let us know what you guys think. If you have a score prediction for Minnesota, Ohio State, let us know. Tell us we're crazy. Minnesota's going to put up 40 points. It's going to be a 55-4. It's not going to do that. That's not going to happen. But if you think that's going to happen, you tell us. We'll talk about it, right? We'll engage with you. We're not going to judge you. There's no stupid questions here, right? We just want to see what you think. So again, and while you're at it, I mean, just check out all the talented hosts and artists and everybody that we have in this network. It's fun to watch all these shows, man, to get everybody's opinions, and everybody's just got such different views and perspectives on everything. It's really cool to see. So I think this is a really fun thing that we're building. So please, help us grow, support us as much as you can. It's the Inside Edge Network. Look for the logo at the top left of your screen here, and just, follow us anywhere that you can. We appreciate you watching Illegal Formation. We'll be back with you, TK and I will. We're going to try Monday nights, right? We're going to get a little weekend reaction to some things. We'll react to the Ohio State Minnesota game. We'll react to the Browns game with the Vikings in London. Didn't mean to jump to conclusions there.
Little Monday Night Football preview for you.
Yeah, and really tomorrow on the pregame show, got some cool info because the Vikings played in Dublin, Ireland last week. They played the Steelers. They lost that game 24-21, but they've been living in England. They're staying at this manor, and we'll talk about that a little bit on the pregame show tomorrow. Believe it or not, we're going to get into where the Vikings have been staying, how they've been living, and I assume they're just taking trains all around Europe and having a blast, right? They're just backpacking, finding themselves, going across the country, taking a gap year, a gap week. I don't know, whatever. Whatever. We'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Inside Edge Network. Like I said, at 7:30, bright and early. Get your coffee, get your tea, get your whatever, your breakfast bowl, get your pancakes ready, your cereal, whatever you're going to have. Bring it with you and watch us tomorrow on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show, where we'll talk about Hanbury Manor. That's a heck of a tease, right? Google it. It's awesome. Anyway, we'll talk about the Browns game too. I guess a little bit. We have to talk about that. But again, thanks for watching the Illegal Formation. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And I don't know. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.